I have a wagon because at one point in my brother's years of working on cars, he had bought a wagon, and I've never seen this car before. I thought it was the ugliest thing. But then I realized the more I seen it, the more my brother drove the car, I started getting, attracted to it. And then, sitting in this car every now and then, picking me up from school and stuff like that, I was like, man, this has got a lot more headroom, a lot more space in the back. The back seats fold down, you can sleep in there. And eventually I bought myself a wagon, which is this one. This is my first wagon, and probably about 9 years now that I've owned it. And it's literally became my pride and joy.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Automotive Anatomy. Today we have the man, Dana. Thank you so much, man, for making some time for us. This is going to be definitely a pleasure for a lot of Honda heads, especially the F community, and a big milestone for myself personally. So thank you so much for making time for us, man.
Most definitely, man.
Tell us, man, what do you drive?
I drive this 1990 Honda Civic Wagon, front wheel drive, but converted all wheel drive.
Wow. So for those that don't know, tell us a little bit about you and your YouTube channel.
So I go by the name YOUNGSTATIC. That is the channel's name. And I've been on it for a pretty long time. And a lot of my build since I've gotten to cars has been documented on there to present day. From 06 to 2020, every single one of my cars that I've ever had is documented on the channel. And I'm just a regular Joe like you and I, just sharing my passion with everybody in hopes of inspiring and motivating a lot of you guys out there to just go do what makes you happy.
Man, that's awesome. So thank you so much for providing that service to the community. So going back to the Civic Wagon, why a wagon? Why a Civic? Why an EF?
So it all started with my older brother. Out of high school, he got himself a CRX back in like 98, 99. My second brother as well too, he was also in the cars. He also had a CRX EF hatches. So as a young kid, I was probably about 12, 13 at the time, and that's all I saw growing up. And originally I had an EF sedan. I wasn't a CRX guy because I was big at the time too. I was a little chunky kid and I couldn't fit in the car. So when I first saw the EF sedan that had extra doors, I didn't have to worry about reclining my chair forward anymore to, let people in the car. Right. So I got a 4-door for you can use your own door. And that became my first car, which was my 91 EF sedan, which I've had for about 10 years, which I have a wagon because at one point in my brother's years of working on cars, he had bought a wagon, and I've never seen this car before. I thought it was the ugliest thing. But then I realized the more I seen it, the more my brother drove the car, I started getting, attracted to it. And then, sitting in this car every now and then, picking me up from school and stuff like that, I was like, man, this has got a lot more headroom, a lot more space in the back. The back seats fold down, you can sleep in there. And eventually I bought myself a wagon, which is this one. This is my first wagon, and probably about 9 years now that I've owned it. And it's literally became my pride and joy.
I can see that. And obviously this is going to be a hard question because your vision for it's gone through so many different ones. And I know we spoke and you're going to have even more plans, but I guess tell us your overall vision for the project for this wagon. Like, what is the vision that you entail maybe for the next two years, 5 years? I know it constantly changes, but what is right now currently, where do you want to see this wagon go?
This this is originally my daily commuter. It was bone stock when I bought it. And, obviously I told you that I got rid of my EF sedan, and then I wanted to carry the legacy onto the wagon, which is why it stayed the same color. At the time, the same engine, same wheels, so on and so forth. And from being a daily, it was a show car for a year and a half. And then it became something I beat the hell out of because I drag race. That's what I do. And I couldn't see the car sit there and not being enjoyed. So I built the car to to have fun with. That was my original intention from the get anyways. And I wanted to take this car my goal with this car is to take it anywhere, just like a regular car. You jump in, you take it anywhere. You guys probably seen this many times in SoCal, which is like 6-7 hours for me. I drive it everywhere, and it's something that probably not going to see the trailer unless it's broken. So the intentions of this car is just to have fun with it, no matter what it is that I do: drag racing, road racing, back roads, trips, travels, take it to the grocery store or something, and just a car to have fun with no matter where it is that I'm taking it. That's what it is, really.
Hey, now tell us a little bit about the front end, man. What do you got going on?
The front end of the car, it's a little different. So I've always been a fan of the EF9 front bumper, right? So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to hunt for it. Found myself an EF9 bumper, which you use the wagon filler, and you fit it, and it goes with the front end. And then eventually I was like, man, I've only seen one other wagon outside of the US that had a full EF9 front end, and I mean full EF9 is the headlight and the hood. At the time, they didn't have an SIR style hood for the wagon, so I opted to use a messed up EF9 hood. This hood was actually folded in half before because they smacked the windshield.
Oh.
And I modified like every aspect of this hood to fit the geometry of the wagon, to fit the headlights, to make it a full EF9 front end. And I'm probably one of a few in the world that, as seen online, that has a full EF9 front end. And I actually love the way the car looks, because when you pull up, you don't think it's a wagon, and you're like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
It's a wagon.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about the color, code name.
So I originally started with the Rust-Oleum $50 paint job, which is the smoke gray from Rust-Oleum. And, that was my cheaper, like, budget days when I didn't have the money to do a real paint job. And now that I've, transferred my skill set to a new chassis, which is this car, I opt for automotive paint. So this is PBG paint with Shopline Clear. The color is originally from, I believe it might have been the Scion TC 2014 cement gray.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
The cement gray color code 1H5. It actually came out a lot lighter than I wanted to, but it grew over, like, it grew into me over time. So I actually like the shade of it now.
Yeah, well, definitely. Tell us about your suspension pieces, man. What do you have going on?
So the suspension in this car, pretty much overhauled it front to back. The front is utilizing the stock DX spindle with StopTech 11-inch rotors, and it's got the ITR calipers. All the ball joints, all the bearings, everything has been replaced. It got skunk to upper control arm, new rack and pinion. It has tie rods, inner rods. It's got the Apex. It's a Japanese. I can't even read the rest of the writings on it, but it's 16K springs all around.
Woo.
And it's got the full race traction bar. The rear is converted to all-wheel drive, so it has all-wheel drive trailing arm from the Civic Wagon. Still utilizes the drums, but it has a Synergy lower control arms, which are just some silver starred lower control arms. It's got block spherical trailing arm bushing, skunk to upper control arms, wicked tuning, tow kit, and the brakes are pretty basic in the back. They're Rebestos, and the front has Hog HP Plus.
Oh, wow.
With a brake boosted delete, which is no fun.
You gotta really step on it. What are the future plans for the suspension pieces?
Future plans, I might retire the suspension because they are old. They were from Japan, so I mean, I've seen some oil leaks on it, so I'm probably gonna look for a new suspension. I might look into BCs, but I'm not really set to it yet because the pocket is not happy for it. But the suspension stuff, I think everything that's like rubberized, anything energy, I'm probably gonna change it over to maybe spherical or just something a little more firmer, because the energy stuff still gets soft over time and you can feel it. But being soft for all-wheel drive is not a bad thing, because you kind of want that squat. So not really set to changing anything soon, but there is some works for wanting to change it later.
Definitely. Okay, cool. Tell us about your wheel and tire setup.
Wheel and tire setup is we have the 949 Racing 6UL. These are 15x8 plus 36. I believe these are nickel finish. And the tires are the Arculate ATR K Sports 225 50-15s. And I thought these were suited because, I needed the meat to grab for the all-wheel drive stuff, especially with the rebuilt Vistas coupler. A lot of the power transfers to the rear. And it really fills up the wheel well. And I think it makes the car look super aggressive. So these are our compounds. They're great for if I want to take the car on twisties or whatever. But if I want to launch it too, it does definitely get grippy. So that's kind of why I got these the setup for the car.
Tell us about the fender up front.
The fender up front is a funny story, to tell you the truth. If you guys can look over there to my brother's car, you see how it's lifted? That was my original wheel and tire setup on this car, because at one point in time, the car was my daily driver. I drove it to work every day, even in the rain. And when the car was lowered, I was hydroplaning. So I lifted the car up super high. I had 27-inch like mud and snow tires, and the front wheels would fold my fender in. So what I did was I made the fender cutout, and this was not like a trend thing. This was not like I wanted that race car look. This was because I didn't want to drive around without a fender. So I modified the fender so I can have turning radius. And when I finally lowered my car back down for the summer because it wasn't raining anymore, it kind of grew on me during that period of driving it lifted. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to paint match the fender and just rock it, since my original fenders are baconed out anyways.
So it worked out.
Yeah, so it worked out.
It's very aggressive and it's functional.
I think it does help the car make the car look super aggressive, and that's always been my, you know, like my vision for all of my cars. I like them to look as aggressive as possible, but still subtle, you know?
Yeah, no, I completely understand, and it works. It works for this one. So tell us about the rear. When it comes to wagons, I mean, what was your thought process with the current look? Because you obviously did a couple of different touches to it.
The rear of the wagon, I mean, I honestly didn't even like the wagon at first because of it's a flat booty. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a flat booty. But like, you know, the more I drove the wagon, the more I saw the wagons, the more it grew into me, and I was like, well, there's a purpose for it being flat. It's a hatch. It opens up and it gives you a lot of space. So for me to kind of spice up the rear of the car, I actually opt to make a wing for this car. So this, I know some of you guys are gonna kill me for this, but this is a real charge speed wing, real one. And I cut it in half to fit the wagon. Why? Was because this was sitting on my attic, and one day I opened the garage door and it was on the floor and it broke. So I was like, no, that hurt it. Then again, I didn't have a hatch, so I was like, well, you know what? I kind of need to spice up the back of the car a little bit. So what I did was, you can see it, and mind you, I did this about 6 years ago. I cut it in half, and then I molded this wing into the wagon stock wing, so it can be 100% bolt-on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's 100% bolt-on, and I eliminated that third brake light down here because I got one in the glass. So I did that, and then the half-cut bumper is a funny story about that one too. I don't mean to offend nobody. I made a little series on how to be a parking lot race car. So I did a half-cut bumper to kind of, you know what I'm saying, parking lot race car, and then it kind of stuck. I kind of started liking the way it looked.
You're a parking lot race car.
Yeah, so, but the difference is I raced the car.
No, I get you.
Yeah, so I did the half-cut bumper, and it grew on me, and I was like, man, it really does look good. Plus, you know, it kind of showed a little bit of the suspension stuff, which is cool.
It shows a lot.
Yeah, and now that the car's all-wheel drive, you know, the differential, everything's just chilling down there because I painted it, so it's like all, hey, I'm here, you know? And that's, I think it flows with the rest of the car, the wing, the fender, the tire, all of the stories between the wing, the bumper, the fender. It was all different reasons to why it happened, but it all kind of fitted and worked out at the end of the day.
It flows perfectly. So
and I love this car. I think this stage of the car right here is probably my best throughout the years. You know, even when this car was at a show car stage at one point in time where it was like Rega Masters and really clean and subtle, I think this is probably my best look that I like the most of all the years as I've had this car.
Man, so tell us about the interior. What we got going on?
So the interior of the car, this car is originally left-hand drive, and again, funny story about why this car is right-hand drive is because my cousin was like, oh, I want to go right-hand drive, and I was like, well, if you do it, I'll do it, you know, we'll do it together. And then I bought my clip, and then we just couldn't source one for him, so I was like, man, I got stuck with it. So I was like, you know what, if I already have it, let's do it. So during the year 2013 on the YouTube channel, I did a full like strip down, drill outs and everything, full tutorial on how to do a right-hand drive on your EF. So the car is right-hand drive converted now, and it's got full gray interior conversion. This car was originally white, it had blue interior, so I sourced all the gray interior, swapped it over. I had found the gray carpet in the junkyard. I got full beagle seats front to back. And this was hard to find because I found the front seats first, and then I found the back seats after. And then later down that year, I sourced the door panels. So yes, the car is all power window except this guy. I think the regulator went out. But it's the power windows, power locks. It doesn't have power mirrors, but that's something on the list that I do want to get in the future. But other than that, it's just a full Beagle conversion in the back, except the back compartments, which is also on the list to get later down the road as well.
That's awesome, man. I like the fact that it's full interior. No plans on caging and stripping it, going full race car. You like that because you're going electric, so it's almost like you want to keep that sense of a daily drive.
Yeah, it's got heater and everything still in here. My car has always been full interior cars, unless it was like a strictly race car. Like even my track car is now full interior instead of caged out like I wanted to. But I think eventually, because I still am trying to go fast with this car, especially with the new motor, I'm eventually going to put a cage in it. But I still want this to be a streetable, subtle car. If I did a cage, it'd probably be black. It'd probably be a 6-point, which is more than enough for me to go like, low 10s or something. So the goal for the interior has always been full interior, have the luxuries of power window, power locks. It's got the OEM radio still in there. It's got the heater, the auto aircon and stuff still works in here. And, full interior street car. That's always been my thing.
So tell us, man, what are we staring at?
We are staring at a whole heap of a mess here in the engine bay. So we have this is an 03 RSX Type S K20A2 motor, complete long block, unopened. Made it with a 03 Honda CR-V all-wheel drive transmission and a turbo kit.
All right, so let's start from the front of the car. What kind of radiator, and you can make your way back?
We are running the full-size Skunk 2 radiator modified for K series. So originally this was for the B series, but the water neck was in the way, so I had to switch it over to work in this car. So Skunk 2 with a Spall fan. It has a 112-inch on here, I believe, and the car stays at 185 degrees even turboed. And I've driven like this all the way to SoCal, so it's doing this job. And working my way back here, we have custom charge pipes that I fabricated here in the house. And we are equipped with a turbo kit, which has a Garrett 60-1 turbo with a Boost Junkie manifold. These are 100% TIG welded 304 stainless steel from Arizona. And the downpipe dump tube, I made that all myself as well. Wow. We got the stock valve cover that I completely shaved off to give it that much more sleeker look. And welded 2-10 bung for breather. We are using the K-Tune fuel rail. Shout out to K-Tune for that. 1600 gram cc injectors. And we are rocking the Exetti twin disc clutch in it as of right now. Wow. So, yeah.
What a handful, right?
Yeah, that's a handful.
So tell us, if you don't mind sharing power, what kind of boost are you in? Things like that.
This car is running a single 44 mil wastegate, and I am running just a vacuum line to it, so no boost controller. And the wastegate is set at 9 pounds, and the last time this car was tuned, which was in 2017, on 9 pounds, this car made 417 wheel horsepower with, I believe it was 287 wheel torque.
On pump?
On pump gas.
That's awesome.
Yes. Because, I drive it up and down the coast all the time, so I need that pump gas. Yeah.
E85 in the plans?
The new motor? We're going E85, and I have new turbos coming in, and I'm definitely planning for a lot more than what this car is currently making. So that's the end goal, and my goal is to go fast to the point of needing a roll cage.
Oh boy.
But still, again, keeping it street car. So.
So I guess usually we ask what are the future plans, but this is gonna come out, and then you're gonna go E85 and switch up some other stuff as well. Then
future plans. So the thing is, I'm gonna retire this motor a little bit because we are running on 3.5 cylinders. The motor did get kind of hurt, over the years of driving and stuff like that. And the new motor that's going in temporarily until this motor gets built. So I have another stock K20 motor going in, but this time it's going to have head studs, full valve train, new timing belt, water pump, head gasket, the whole 9 to ensure the motor is going to make more power and handle more power. But the new motor that I'm trying to do with this current long block, since this one is hurt, I'm do piston rod setup, and then obviously a new turbo. Ooh. And trying to turn it up to like a reliable you know, 500 plus.
Hey,
So
he said reliable.
reliable. Right now, this is reliable, but you know, I drive it pretty damn far. So.
And you push it as
I
you
push
did
it.
all-wheel drive burnout for the 100K celebration.
Celebration. It was a celebration for 100,000, and obviously the car has to be able to take the abuse. So you know.
You said it did. So.
Yeah, it did. It held up great, and I'm honestly surprised at it. And car's still shooting today, so you know, hopefully the next motor is more bulletproof than that. So.
Dana, thank you so much for making the time for us, man. I really truly appreciate it.
No problem,
and
bro.
all the stories behind this beautiful wagon. Any shout outs, man?
Shout outs. Yo, first and foremost, man, shout out to my parents, because if it wasn't for their approval, I wouldn't be able to do what I am doing now, you know, and sharing my passion with you guys. And you know, also shout out to my cat Meow Meow. If you guys watch the channel, you guys know he's always the one chilling with me, keeping me company throughout the late nights working on these cars. And you know, throughout the car though, shout out to, like, you know, sorry if I forget some people, but Caesar, man, thank you for painting the car for me when I didn't have the place or time to do it. You know, big shout out to Jose for the turbo manifold, because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be turboed. And also a big shout out to my cousins, because they were the ones who helped me throughout this car, throughout the years that I've owned it. And pretty much everybody else that has contributed to the build helped me get in this car to where it currently stands in the last 9 years that I've owned the car, you know. And you know, big shout out to Red Zone. I support Red Zone 100%. Shout out to Jeremy for tuning my car, especially, you know, late nights, 1 o'clock street tuning, you know, before my 6-hour drive. And till this day, the car is still running cherry. You know, aside from that, shout out to everybody who has supported me throughout the years, everybody who helped motivated me to continue doing what I love to do. And you know, I wouldn't have been here without everybody's support. So if you guys ever had a feeling of wanting to do something, just go out and do it.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dana. Like I said, this is surreal for me. Following your channel for the past 7 years now. And please keep growing. And I cannot wait for you to hit 1 million subscribers, because I know for a fact you're super under subscribed. You put in so much work that it's quite crazy that a lot of people don't, you know, kind of show that support that you really definitely deserve. So keep growing, keep busting your ass, man. Keep being such a positive individual for the community. And like I said, thank you. This has been honestly a pleasure, and it's not going to be the last time.
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming out and definitely stopping by while you're on your way up. So, you know, definitely big shout out to you as well, too, man. You know, I appreciate you coming out here, checking out the whip, you know, getting to meet you, because I follow your channel as well, too. So,
right.
Yeah.
I'll give you $20 back, all right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, man. And I can't wait for the future plans for you professionally and for the channel, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Oh, shit.
Have a little sputter in the map a little bit.
They got brakes.
Got 11-inch rotors, ITR caliper, Honk HP Plus compound, and that's on the brake boosted delete. It grabs pretty good, yeah?
Oh, God, dude. Thank you so much for this experience.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming and I still got scared.
The thing about all-wheel drive is it's like you have to pre-brace yourself. Like my seatbelt just tightened on me right now. Like that's how much it puts you in your seat.
Oh shit!
Right? I saw your head was like, ah!
Here it comes. Damn.
That's So that's street tune. I don't know what it makes, but it's still on the same 9 pounds. So it makes 400 before. I don't know what it's making now, but it feels really, it's gnarly.
Wow, that's on pump as well. I mean, you're fucking insane, man.
I think the car is overheating a little bit because Honda has a fail-safe feature where if the car gets up to a fail-safe temp, like maybe 210 or whatever on the ECU, it puts the car kind of into limp mode. But the thing is, it feels like it's in limp mode, but there's no check engine light for it. Normally, there's a check engine light for fail-safe, and it's not coming on. But then again, like I said, the map needs a little touch-up here and there. That's why the car is doing this little jerk fest right now. But you felt it though, just that quick one hit, you know, you felt like the car is like it's got a hit. Like
this car is
it hurts. It's like somebody hit you in your chest.